Tonight, restoring the Carlingwood Library.
The carpets were soaked and the water was enough that it wrecked the shelving.
After getting flooded during the Canada Day storm, the library remains closed with no set date to reopen. A connection between Canada and the U.S. years in the making.
People need access to that bridge.
The new Gordie Howe International Bridge is finally set to open to traffic at noon tomorrow. The Prime Minister has announced by-elections in 3 federal ridings in Quebec, Ontario, and British Columbia. Voters will head to the polls on August 31st. And one of the world's largest chamber music festivals is back for another year.
You can come and expect to hear like smaller groups of musicians, like string quartets and piano trios and duos and that kind of thing.
Ottawa Chamberfest takes over the city for 11 days of performances at venues across the capital. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. It's been 26 days since a record-breaking storm hit the nation's capital on Canada Day. More than 6,000 basements were flooded here in Ottawa, leaving behind devastating damage. And one of the hardest hit properties, the Carlingwood branch of the Ottawa Library. CTV's Natalie Van Roy joins us now with more on this. And Natalie, the library is still closed, right?
That's right, Kimberly. We have heard and seen how incredibly destructive this storm was on July 1st and how quickly basements flooded. One area that is still cleaning up, the Carlingwood branch of the Ottawa Library, which shows no signs of opening anytime soon. Caution tape surrounds the Carlingwood branch of the Ottawa Library 26 days after a devastating flood.
They had water coming in, and I think you can see right here that that slopes downward. So this is in the children's area, and the carpets were soaked and the water was enough that it wrecked the shelving.
The building on Woodruff Avenue flooded during the July 1st storm. It's been closed ever since, and there's no specific reopening date.
It looks like it's September, and it might be mid-September. So not great news, but that's still, you know, relatively at the beginning of the school year when everybody needs it, but they got to get those carpets out.
Staff at the library say the areas affected by the flooding at the Carlingwood branch contained around 25,000 items.
You know the library's closed, right?
Ottawa Councillor Teresa Kavanagh says as far as she knows, the area wasn't contaminated. It's just wet. And thankfully, the collection wasn't damaged.
The books are fine. I think people were worried about that.
But during peak summer and the school break, the community is feeling the impact of temporarily losing this beloved space.
Lots of people using it for different reasons. Computers are always busy, people looking for jobs, and lots of different programming. We used to walk over with our kids. And
Catherine Cole and her family have been going to other branches in the meantime, including Rosemount.
I know it's difficult for our library to be closed, but my thoughts are more with the people who've had to deal with their houses being flooded.
For now, the exterior book drop remains closed, and members are being asked to not return items. Another branch that flooded on July 1st was the Nepean Centrepoint branch, which will reopen the exterior drop box for returns on Monday. The first and second floors will reopen on July 30th, and the lower level of Centrepoint will remain closed until November for restoration work. Meanwhile, when the Centrepoint branch reopens on July 30th, the children's programs will resume and a small children's collection will be available on the first floor. Kimberly.
CTV's Natalie Van Roy reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Natalie. And CTV Ottawa has extended coverage of the ongoing cleanup after Canada Day's flooding. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. We're learning more about a stabbing in Craig Henry Park that sent a man in his 50s to hospital Thursday night. The area councillor says the man was trying to intervene in a dispute between several young girls before he was stabbed. CTV's Austin Lee joins us now in Austin. What more can you tell us?
Well, Kimberly, in a social media post, Councillor Sean Devine says all the girls involved in the dispute were under 15 years old. He says police told him the man who was stabbed was the father of one of those girls. However, Ottawa police have not responded to our requests for any information. Paramedics do tell us the 55-year-old was stabbed twice in the abdomen before he was taken to the Ottawa Hospital Trauma Centre in stable condition, again, after he was stabbed twice in the abdomen. According to Councillor Devine, 2 suspects have been arrested. It is a scary situation that comes as a shock to those in the community.
Thought it would be safe around here with just a police station just a block or 2 away, too. Yeah, it's hard to believe that, you know, who was involved with this accident, this stabbing.
Now, Councillor Devine says he's advocating for greater safety measures in Craig Henry Park, including increased patrols and meaningful enforcement when officers do encounter any illegal activity. He says crime prevention through environmental design measures will also be explored for Craig Henry Park. This stabbing incident at the park was one of 4 violent incidents that occurred over a 24-hour period in Ottawa between Thursday evening and Friday night. Kimberly.
CTV's Austin Lee reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Austin. Ontario Provincial Police say a 16-year-old girl has died following a single vehicle crash north of Cornwall early this morning. Emergency crews responded to the crash along Headline Road near County Road 19 in South Stormont around 3:40 a.m. The girl was pronounced dead at the scene. 2 other occupants suffered serious injuries and were transported to a local hospital before being airlifted to a hospital here in Ottawa. Anyone with information or dash cam footage is asked to contact OPP or Crime Stoppers. Ottawa police continue to investigate after a collision between an e-bike and a car last night in Barrhaven. It happened at the intersection of Strandherd Drive and Dealership Drive around 9:15. Police say the 16-year-old rider of the e-bike suffered minor injuries. No charges have been laid, but the investigation is ongoing. All right, we'll take our first crack at the weather tonight. Again, a lovely day. I was expecting rain earlier on, but it looks like we're heading that later on this evening. We'll take a look at what's happening right now. Again, we have 26 degrees. Again, a chance of a shower coming later on this evening, but again, mainly cloudy conditions we're looking at here in the capital. As for tonight's lows, 18 degrees again here and right along the Seaway. Again, a chance of those showers that we're dealing with overnight. We've got 15 degrees toward the Bancroft area, 16 in Pembroke. As for the lows, 16 degrees in Gatineau, 16 in Petawawa as well, 18 towards Kemptville. Now looking at tomorrow's highs, again, we have some rain that'll be sticking with us for the better part of the week. A thunderstorm could be in the forecast again, and the horizon, I should say. 27 degrees are high, and the same thing along the Seaway for tomorrow. And in Gatineau, same conditions there. 27 degrees there in Gatineau, Petawawa, also in Kemptville. Well, wildfire activity remains high with over 160 active wildfires burning across northern Ontario. Additional crews from Alberta have arrived to the fire line near Thunder Bay to support the ongoing firefighting efforts. The crews are working to locate and extinguish hot spots along the fire perimeter with helicopter bucketing operations providing additional support. Crews continue to build hose lines, and to patrol the area for any signs of fire activity. Meantime, in British Columbia, wildfire activity remains high across the southern part of the province. There are currently over 130 active wildfires across the province, with 27 of them starting in the last 24 hours. Warm, dry weather continues to fuel active fire behavior. Now, over the weekend, several new and existing fires continue to grow, driven in large part by these strong winds. An official with the BC Fire Service says the fire crews are facing challenging conditions.
Many of the areas in BC, especially in the southern half of the province, have dry fuels that are receptive to ignition. And so when we get the conditions we've seen recently with lightning, especially when it's not coming with rain, and that heat and dry weather and wind, it makes it really easy for new fires to ignite and for those fires to burn aggressively.
Additional firefighters are also coming to BC soon, including from Yukon and Alberta. Well, the long-anticipated opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge is set for tomorrow. By noon, traffic is scheduled to roll across the major international crossing. But as CTV's Jeremy Sharon tells us, just hours away from its official opening, there's still skepticism.
The ribbon has been cut, the milestone marked with a Canadian celebration Friday. Officially opening the Gordie Howe Bridge to traffic is all that remains.
it's huge. Not just as a structure, it's huge economically as well.
The bridge's opening will add a fifth crossing point to what is the busiest international trade corridor in North America. The Windsor-Detroit crossing accounts for about 1/3 of all trade between Canada and the U.S., about $1 billion a day.
And the amount of trade that flows at the Blue Water Bridge here in Sarnia, Point Edward, and in Windsor is vital to the Canadian economy. So, again, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed that the bridge actually opens, that is. History is a cause for concern here. This bridge's opening has been delayed several times. A scheduled ceremony last month was called off at the 11th hour by the Trump administration. The president wanted a new deal.
Given the rhetoric out of the White House in the last 24 hours on wildfires again and more tariffs, will this actually transpire? That is a big issue.
This weekend, in the final hours, there is hope, but caution too on both sides of the Detroit River.
I don't know how much influence our president will have on the opening of tomorrow, but I know that the American people are anxious for that to happen.
Businesses in Windsor hoping to benefit from a fresh flow of visitors, waiting with bated breath.
I keep saying I'm just going to believe it when I see it, but I am very hopeful that tomorrow's the day.
U.S. officials were uninvited from Friday's ceremony after Trump's latest tariff threats. This former U.S. ambassador and governor of Michigan was one of them.
This is a fabulous piece of architecture. It's a towering symbol of our friendship, and no amount of political rhetoric in Washington is going to change that.
The bridge has so far served as a symbol, though not a good one, an example rather of the continued tension between the countries. Monday's opening, some hope, can help turn a page. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has called by-elections in 3 federal ridings for August 31st. Candidates will seek to replace former Conservative MP Richard Martel in the Quebec riding of Coaticommune-Le-Fjord. Martel resigned as an MP after being appointed to the Senate. In the Toronto riding of Beaches East York, there's an opening to replace former Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith. And the third by-election will be held in the North Vancouver Capilano riding, most recently represented by the former Liberal MP and now Canada's ambassador to the European Union, Jonathan Wilkinson. The Liberals currently hold a slim majority in the House of Commons and will need to win one of the by-elections to keep that. The Liberals have 172, including the Speaker. Conservatives have 139. The Bloc Québécois have 21, and the New Democrats have 5 seats, while the Green Party has 1. There is 1 independent, and 4 seats, which include those up for grabs in the by-elections, are vacant. Toronto police have multiple Jewish-owned bakeries have been targeted, with the hate crime unit now taking the lead on the investigation.
We understand that this is concerning for those that work and live in this area, especially members of the Jewish community. And we have all the resources available to thoroughly investigate this matter. Members of our hate crime, members of our Guns and Gang Integrated Task Force, and our divisional units are here canvassing the area. So members of the public can be aware that there's going to be an increased presence of police in the area conducting our investigation.
Toronto police say a Jewish-owned bakery was struck by gunfire overnight. Then about 20 minutes later, police received reports of a broken window at another location of the same bakery chain, but there was no evidence that shots were fired. No injuries have been reported. Well, some breaking news out of Germany. A manhunt was underway overnight after what authorities describe as an Islamist terror attack carried out by a German citizen last night. Today, the suspect has been shot and killed by police. Now, according to a social media post from Berlin police, the operation was carried out at a garden complex on the west side of Berlin. They say the suspect ran towards officers while armed with a bladed weapon, prompting officers to shoot him. Now, the fire department attempted to resuscitate him, but he died at the scene.
Hier in Berlin, aber auch in ganz Deutschland.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says that Germany will not allow the poison of terrorism to affect its society. Police say the suspect rammed a car through Pride celebrations in Berlin on Saturday night, leaving 1 woman dead and 29 others injured. The suspect then attacked the crowd with some type of blade, injuring more people. Prime Minister Mark Carney is calling the attack horrific in a post on social media saying that no one should face hatred or violence because who they are or who they love. He adds his thoughts are with the victims, their loved ones, and the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. And Mayor Mark Sutcliffe posting to social media today saying, with our own Pride celebrations only weeks away, this strikes close to home for many Ottawa residents. He adds he has spoken with the chair of Capital Pride and Ottawa Police Chief Eric Stubbs in an effort to ensure safety for all participants in Capital Pride events. Well, 1 month after devastating earthquake struck Venezuela, members of Ottawa's Venezuelan community gathered downtown today, urging the world not to forget those still suffering. CTV's Josh Morano joins us now in studio. And Josh, what did you hear from the people at the rally today?
Yeah, Kimberly, people say that today's Rise Up Venezuela rally is about more than just raising awareness. It was about making sure the people of Venezuela know they've not been forgotten. 1 month after devastating earthquakes hit Venezuela, dozens gathering at Ottawa's Human Rights Monument, united by a message of hope.
This is a worldwide campaign to remind people around the world that even if the earthquake, happened a month and a few days ago, the needs of the people in Venezuela are huge.
Rise Up Venezuela is a grassroots campaign bringing people together in about 70 cities around the world, aimed at raising awareness, encouraging humanitarian support, and standing with those still recovering.
It's been 1 month and 2 days since this happened, and twin earthquakes devastated our land, and there's so much devastation.
According to the latest humanitarian reports, more than 5,000 people have died, with roughly 17,000 injured. For Zuli Alvarado, born in Caracas, watching the destruction from Canada has been especially difficult.
Yes, I have family down there, and the only encouraging thing that I can tell you at the moment is that we've seen a lot of miracles come from the rubble.
Organizers say many communities still lack basic supplies, and they're urging Canada to continue their support.
The needs are so huge, and everything will help. So we don't want people to forget.
As a Venezuelan, I wish we had a government that would allow us to welcome rescuers, that would allow us to welcome a lot of the donations that are being given.
For many here, the distance to Venezuela hasn't weakened their connection to home.
I do know people in Venezuela who are very devastated, and people here in Canada who have lost people in Venezuela. So it's very, very painful for all of us.
The group hopes today's rally leads to more support here at home, with the federal government now matching eligible donations to Venezuela earthquake relief up to $7 million. Kimberly.
CTV's Josh Moreno reporting live for us tonight. Thank you very much, Josh. And you can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We have more details on the humanitarian efforts to help with recovery and reconstruction after the Venezuelan earthquakes.
What's so special about chamber music is that it's so intimate and that there's so much connection.
Well, still ahead, Ottawa Chamberfest makes its return. We'll tell you what you need to know after the break. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Cloudy out there, but we're looking at 28 degrees.
Someone's pulled off the ultimate comfort crime.
CTV and Move 100's $15,000 comfort heist.
Track the daily clues, and you could win a $15,000 Lazy Boy room makeover.
Visit Lazy Boy Canada, Searville, and Hunt Club for exclusive bonus clues.
Want to be sitting pretty?
Submit your daily guess at ctvottawa.ca or move100ottawa.ca.
CTV and Move 100's $15,000 comfort heist.
Brought to you by Lazy Boy, Ottawa, Gatineau, and Kingston.
Comfort that fits your life.
As festivals continue this weekend throughout the capital, the Ottawa Chamberfest is taking center stage at various locations across the city and drawing in many music lovers. CTV's Camille Wilson had a front row seat to some chamber music today. Camille, how did it go?
Kimberly, music is truly a universal language, and this shows at the Ottawa Chamber Festival with something for everyone to enjoy. The family-friendly Canadian festival going back to 1994, celebrating Canadian musicians from all genres of music and captivating the ears of many. It's a journey through music for music lovers Neil Crawford and Sylvie Mougeot.
It's just an incredible diversity of music, and to be able to spend 10 days immersed in it is really fun, and it's really efficient.
With this festival, you get that nice meditative music as well, and calming music.
For nearly 2 decades, attending Ottawa's Chamberfest has been their tradition.
Chamberfest has a lot of really different things that aren't played that often, a lot of new music, different combinations.
Over the course of the 11-day summer festival, 60 events, including kids shows and an all-Ukrainian concert.
What's so special about chamber music is that it's so intimate and there's so much connection. It's like conversation between all of the players. And we really try to break the fourth wall, too, so that everyone in the room is really as involved as we are.
Each performance made up of a small group of musicians, like this one, with primary performers violinist Yolanda Bruno and accordion player Michael Bridge. And then showcase other artists like cellist Beth Silver.
It was a really important part of my development as a musician because it was probably some of my first professional gigs with a lot of mentors of mine who trusted me to give, smaller concerts at first, and then starting to collaborate with different people.
Some loyal chamber music lovers say this festival has enriched their life.
I've attended a lot of the events, in fact, most of the events.
Yes.
And it's a lovely mixture of new talent and well-known talent as well. So it's a very good balance of musical genres and artists.
And for others, the opportunity to discover new artists.
The Chamber Fringe series at night brings, really pushes the envelope on what chamber music is, and it's always something new and interesting.
Artists and attendees saying this long-standing festival is a feeling of community at every performance. The Ottawa Chamber Fest runs until August 2nd. And for more information, you can head over to ctvnewsottawa.ca. Kimberly.
CTV's Camille Wilson reporting live for us tonight. Thank you very much, Camille. And a lot of those Chamber Fest events happening indoors and outdoors. So if they were outdoors today, some great weather they had. It was another sunny day here in the capital. It was supposed to rain in the afternoon, but it looks like we'll be getting some of that rain closer toward 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. But again, around the capital today, the morning and afternoon, it was quite lovely. Take a look through our satellite radar. Again, we do have some cloud cover rolling in. Again, a shower that we're anticipating in the overnight hours, and then off and on through the week, we could see some rain pretty much almost every day. So that's a look through the satellite radar right across the region. We'll take a look at what's happening across the country right now. 25 degrees, overcast skies in Charlottetown. Sunny in Fredericton. They're sitting at 27 degrees, 21 degrees with some cloud cover toward Halifax. Here in Ottawa, we're at 28 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Mix of sun and cloud as well in Toronto. They're at 26 degrees, 28 degrees toward Windsor. 26 degrees with some possible rain toward the Sudbury area. Moving over toward the prairies, we've got 28 degrees toward Winnipeg, 29 in Regina, 27 in Saskatoon. They were experiencing a warm front coming through that area, really warm in that area this weekend. 28 degrees with some cloud cover toward the Calgary area, 17 degrees. Looks like we've got a bit of rain toward Vancouver. Closer to us here in Ottawa, overnight chance of showers, 18 degrees the overnight low. Looks like tomorrow more showers in the forecast, but 27 degrees will be the high. Moving over toward the valley, same conditions, 16 degrees though for the overnight, 27 degrees with a chance of showers for your Monday. And then along the Seaway, again, pretty much more of the same. Chance of showers overnight and then again into your Monday, 27 degrees will be the high there. So here's a look at how the week is shaping up. Again, on Monday, chance of showers, 40%, 27 degrees will be the high, but then look at that. It looks like it's going to be raining all week long. 60% chance of a shower on Tuesday, 25 degrees will be the high, 24 the high on Wednesday, 26 the high on Thursday, 28 degrees on Friday. So again, looks like we'll hit the mid to high 20s to last us throughout the week. Well, the Ontario government is rolling out something new rarely seen across the country. It's granting its transit officers special powers to make arrests for drug use and violence on transit systems. And as CTV's Kamal Karamali reports, other cities and provinces are watching closely to see if they should copy the move.
In the middle of those busy morning commutes, through the rush of transit passengers, the problem of drug addiction weighing on the city of Toronto is hard to miss.
Obviously, the situation is visible and it's bad.
Earlier this year, Ontario announced it'll give transit officers new powers, the rare authority to issue tickets and arrest passengers for possession of illegal drugs.
The new provincial regulation appearing to move forward in full force here in Ontario, now being watched closely by other provinces who are also dealing with surging cases of drug use on their public transit systems.
In Edmonton, cases of violence and drug use on transit are escalating, with the city now exploring all options to curb it.
The recent move by the Ontario government is something that we're watching extremely closely on the municipal level here in Alberta.
On one hand, I can see it could expedite taking care of issues on transit. But on the flip side, I have more questions than answers.
Some of those questions involve whether special constables will receive the appropriate training. The Toronto Transit Commission said that's exactly what it's working on.
Less enforcement on public transit.
But that's not good enough for some transit riders who believe the move risks targeting vulnerable people.
We're very concerned that this will lead to racial profiling, criminalization of poverty, and just generally more people being targeted.
Instead, pushing the province to put more resources into addiction treatment.
There's no evidence to show that a law enforcement is the way to deal successfully with people in crisis.
In Vancouver, the only Canadian city that has a dedicated police force for transit, but is still dealing with open drug use on its transit network. Local politicians still believe in their approach and that Ontario is on the right track.
If that's the approach that Toronto's taking, I think it makes sense, and I'm surprised actually that they didn't have something like that in place already.
With transit bodies across Ontario continuing to roll out the new measures this summer. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Right now, beekeepers are essentially keeping their beehives healthy. That's all we're trying to do, keep them going until the next season.
All right, when we come back, a sticky situation for Canadian beekeepers brought on by Trump's tariffs. More on how the industry is being stung by the latest levies.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
We got a look here at the Queensway, east and westbound traffic overall moving quite well. We are noticing that there is a bit of eastbound volume here on the 417 as you approach Woodruff Avenue, but overall we're not hearing about any crashes or major problems to slow you down if you need to get out tonight. Well, the looming threat in the latest round of Trump's tariffs has created a buzz in Canada's honey industry. The U.S. is its biggest buyer, and as CTV's Alison Bamford tells us, it comes at a time producers are already feeling the sting.
It's the middle of honey production season, and these hives are buzzing.
These guys are all actually filling the cells up with fresh nectar.
Simon Lalonde is checking in on production, a task that sometimes stings.
Part of the job.
But the potential sting of U.S. tariffs is something that the Canadian honey industry doesn't normally feel.
We were very surprised. We don't really see a whole lot of reasoning for it.
President Donald Trump's threat of a 50% tariff comes at an already difficult time for beekeepers, battling parasites and years of low prices, making it tough to break even.
Right now, beekeepers are essentially keeping their beehives healthy. That's all we're trying to do, keep them going until the next season.
The U.S. is one of the Canadian honey industry's biggest buyers, making up about 60% of honey exports, worth almost $30 million last year. Looming tariffs could close that off.
Without sales, I'm sure operations will fail. We just don't have alternative markets to sell Canadian honey. We're working on it, but it's very difficult to do.
Producers like Lalonde could be forced to sell their honey at even lower prices just to get rid of it, although he doesn't anticipate that would change the price for consumers.
Honey prices in Canada have been at an extreme low for the last 4 years, yet the prices on the store shelves have stayed essentially the same.
In a few days, Lalonde will start extracting honey from these hives. That's where his attention is right now. Once that's done, he says then he can focus on any possible impacts from the tariffs.
It's like every other farm, get the crop in the bin and then worry about how you're going to market it.
A sticky situation that the industry hopes trade talks can resolve. Allison Bamford, CTV News, near Clavet, Saskatchewan.
In tonight's big picture, dozens of hot air balloons provided a breathtaking scene over Russia this week. 50 hot air balloons were launched at the annual Russian Golden Ring Festival, setting a new record. The festival took place in an ancient historic Russian town just northwest of Moscow. And now to some other stories you need to know right now. Atletico Ottawa hosting Victoria's Pacific FC at TD Place this afternoon. And this game, it went right down to the wire.
Things are wide open now. Overruns the ball, though, and that allows defenders to get back. Rattles around. Chateau-Fleuriot on his debut.
Nicolas Chateau-Fleuriot scoring in the dying seconds of stoppage time for Ottawa for a big 3-2 win. And that goal for the Ottawa local, he made it in his Atletico debut. What a day. Ottawa's next match is set for this coming Saturday, and it'll be on the West Coast taking on Vancouver FC. Well, that's a look at the Canada night markets wrapping up tonight. Now, the popular event bringing in a lot of people, so many people there at the Hazeldean Mall. They extended the hours, opening things up and a little bit earlier this year. Now, it runs until 8 o'clock tonight. The second annual Tamil Fest wrapped up last night at Clarkfields Park in Nepean. Dancers took to the stage for special performances. There was also fresh food and plenty of celebrations bringing together the community. The event was free and featured games, activities, and local artisans highlighting cultural pride. In a study published in the Journal of American Medical Association, researchers have developed a new blood test that could be a major breakthrough in detecting early signs of Alzheimer's disease. Older adults with higher levels of the protein called p-tau217 in their blood were 38% more likely to develop Alzheimer's within the next 5 years. Now, the research could have a significant impact in Canada, where about 750,000 people are living with Alzheimer's disease or another form of dementia. And the beaches of Normandy were where Allied forces landed on D-Day in 1944 has been named a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The United Nations agency says the beaches represent a unique cultural landscape and for the generations of remembrance that followed. World leaders from the U.S., Canada, Britain, and France regularly gather there to mark the historic invasion. The D-Day landings became a turning point in the fight against Nazi Germany and the liberation of Europe during the Second World War.
Learning to resist the urge to compete with the train when it comes in, that ding, 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 ding. I want to match up with it or overpower it, but I know I can't.
Well, in case you missed it this week, we revisit the story of how a new public transit program is highlighting local musicians during the weekday grind.
Sips and sparkles. Win with Move 100 and CTV.
You and 3 friends can be headed out on a night to remember. You each get a $500 gift card to Charm Diamond Centers.
Plus, enjoy an incredible dinner at the Luxe Riviera Ottawa.
Enter now at our contest page at move100ottawa.ca.
Sips and sparkles with Move 100, CTV, and Charm Diamond Centers.
A little charm goes a long way.
Well, in case you missed it this week, there's a new soundtrack to your daily commute. OC Transpo's new busker program started this week, and it aims to highlight local musicians and provide a little bit of a pick-me-up during that weekday commute. CTV's Leah LaRocque has more.
A
train's bell isn't the only sound at Bayview Station. Clarissa Fortin's voice fills the platform with a melody that cuts through the morning rush.
Learning to resist the urge to compete with the train when it comes in, that ding, 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 ding. I want to match up with it or overpower it, but I know I can't. So.
She is one of dozens of buskers whose latest gig is along the Confederation line. The O-Buskers program is made up of about 60 local musicians volunteering their time.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I just heard it now, so that sounds great.
Fortin's a transit user herself.
Constantly. I come in and out of the station almost every day.
And knows that getting to work can be stressful.
I definitely hope to be soothing. I hope to be calming. I didn't pick any, angry songs.
This is the first week of the O-Buskers program, where musicians just like Clarissa will be at 12 stations along Line 1, 7 days a week.
Her songs, including one she wrote herself, stops people like Mary Mena in their tracks.
So it's I guess it's like a stop to see the world around me a little bit. Not be so centered and where I'm going, where I'm coming from.
OC Transpo wants to run the program year-round.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's great to see them out and have a little bit more community in the beginning of the day.
For Fortin, it's a chance to turn an ordinary commute into an unexpected concert.
Even if I play a song that's a little bit obscure, it might be a song that's really special to somebody, and that might get their attention. And yeah, the randomness of being a part of someone's day, even for a little bit.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
Accessibility rules for buildings differ from coast to coast, but this week, most of Canada's premiers, they signed an agreement to move toward common rules and bring down barriers in new builds. Now, supporters call it a major step toward a more accessible country, but some advocates warn the details will determine whether it delivers. CTV's Maria Charoux reports.
12 premiers committing to one goal: to bring Canada's patchwork of accessibility rules closer together. Rick Hansen, a former Paralympian and longtime accessibility advocate, said in social media videos the new Memorandum of Understanding could mark a turning point.
There will never be a new build ever again that isn't built meaningfully accessible so they work for people.
4 decades after wheeling around the world on his Man in Motion tour, the deal was signed in the spirit of his push for a barrier-free country. All of Canada's provinces and territories except Quebec say they will work toward common accessibility rules for new construction, but no implementation timeline has been announced.
People will look back in this moment and say, well, what was the big deal? This is just normal.
David Lepofsky, a blind lawyer and longtime disability rights advocate, says consistency only helps if the standard is strong.
There's a serious risk they're just going to dilute them to the lowest common denominator.
The latest National Building Code already includes features designed to make homes easier to adapt. That includes a wider entrance, reachable switches and outlets, and reinforced bathroom walls for future grab bars. The code was developed with input from people with lived experience. The agreement also asks Ottawa to create a national fund to help retrofit older buildings. The federal government hasn't announced a commitment to that, and each province will still have to adopt and enforce common rules. Maria Charoux, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Heart attack, stroke, and diabetes in particular may, if anything, be actually lower among those that consume caffeinated coffee.
All right, up next, new claims that coffee may actually help your heart. More on the connection between coffee and cardiovascular health after the break.
Pure Country 94. Ottawa's home for the best country music. Listen to Pure Country 94 on the free iHeartRadio app.
Coffee lovers have reason to celebrate this weekend. The American Heart Association says people can probably drink more coffee than they already do. And as CTV's Michael Serapio tells us, there could be some health benefits to that extra cup.
Be it steamed, dripped, or just plain black, Canadians love their coffee.
For Brian?
Industry analysts estimate more than 70% of Canadians drink the caffeinated brew at least once a day, others more. But how much should Canadians be drinking before coffee becomes a health risk?
I'm not sure. Probably 1 or 2.
I'd say maybe 2, because more than 2 it just sort of gives jitters.
Like 3 or 4. I would say that's what I drink every day.
Well, for coffee lovers, some good news from the American Heart Association, which said this past week when it comes to cardiovascular health, up to 5 cups of coffee a day is safe for most adults.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And it's not just safe, it could also be beneficial.
It appears that the risks of things like heart attack, stroke, and diabetes in particular may, if anything, be actually lower among those that consume caffeinated coffee.
That said, what is safe is very individual, based on metabolism, general health, and other factors. And this guideline is only for coffee.
Those data should not be extrapolated to energy drinks.
Health Canada's guidelines are different, saying for adults, the maximum daily intake should be no more than 400 milligrams or 4 cups. For women who are pregnant, trying to get pregnant, or breastfeeding, 300 milligrams or 3 cups. Now, the American guideline does not suggest to drink coffee if you don't already, but if you do, you have reason now to justify a 5th cup. Michael Serapio, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, coming up, a Canadian actor is set to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We'll have those details when we come back. Another live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. We're still sitting at 28 degrees here in the capital, mainly sunny, a few clouds overhead.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, it's Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford. Take your weekend path. We've got the Bronco Sport for it.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Well, here's a recap of the top local stories we're following right now.
They had water coming in, and I think you can see right here that that slopes downward. So this is in the children's area.
After major flooding caused by the Canada Day storm, restoration efforts are underway at the Carlingwood Library. It remains closed with no set date to reopen.
I would have thought it would be safe around here with just a police station just a block or 2 away.
Ottawa Councillor Sean Devine says the man stabbed in Craig Henry Park Thursday night was the father of a young girl who was involved in a dispute.
What's so special about chamber music is that it's so intimate and that there's so much connection.
And one of the world's largest chamber music festivals is back for another year. Ottawa Chamberfest taking over the city for 11 days of performances at venues right across the capital. All right, we'll have another look at your wake-up weather. Here we're looking at 19 degrees. And again, we do have a chance of showers that'll lead us into the morning hours for start off your Monday morning. Here's how the week is shaping up. You can see this. We got a lot of rain ahead for the week, but we have the mid to high 20s as well. So Monday right through Thursday, pretty good chance that we'll be seeing some showers for our week. All right, it's now time to see what our news team will be working on tonight. Austin Lee joins us here. Austin?
Yeah, thanks, Kim. Another switcheroo for the viewers, keeping them on their toes. We will be following up on the Tour de France. It wrapped up today, and there was some local talent at the world-class competition this year. Ottawa's own Derek G., the only Canadian in the Tour this year, and he had a very strong race. So we'll tell you where he finished tonight at 11:30. Of course, you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca. And join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
Will do. Thank you very much, Austin. And finally for us tonight, San Diego Comic-Con, the event that started out as a comic book convention.
Yeah, it's now really evolved into a place that showcases everything going on in Hollywood, the upcoming projects for movies, TV shows. A surprise announcement was made yesterday, and a Canadian actor is set to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Look at the energy in that place,
I know,
too.
crazy.
Hey? That looks
They
like
went nuts.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling is officially joining the MCU as Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. The movie will be directed by Sean Levy, with a release date planned for 2028. It is the third movie in a series about the motorcycle riding anti-hero following the 2007 and 2011 films starring Nicolas Cage. So that'll be a fun watch.
Pretty excited for that. I love everything Marvel, everything to do with the MCU. They also announced at the convention that Black Panther is returning for the next installment, starring T'Challa's son. There's also re-releasing Avengers Endgame. I'm excited about this because there's 7 minutes of unseen footage.
Okay.
And I'm going to see that.
7 minutes? That's it?
In September. I'm going to go see it just for that.
And they're re-releasing it for 7 minutes?
Yeah, it's all leading up to Doomsday, which is in December.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Get on the train. Let's go, Austin.